Alright guys, welcome back to Idiot in Garage. Continuing on the build with the 787. I'm going to put the mag cover on. Would really like to get the starter installed to see if we can test some compression, see how healthy the top end that we put back together on this is. So let's get to it. I'm going to put a tiny bit of 518 around the cover here. And then got a brand new gasket to put on there. So, again, super light coat of the 518, just for some additional protections. Again, not really necessary. But can definitely help. Spreading it out so you get a nice thin coat across the whole surface. And I'm just going to grab a rag and clean the excess. Try to limit squeeze out. Alright. So here's the cover. Again, you can see pretty clean. Went through, scraped all the old gasket off, filed it down. Probably put a little bit of 518 on this side as well. Pretty windy out here, so I'm hoping that not too much of it's getting picked up by the camera microphone. I'm not wearing my actual microphone, so sound quality is probably a little bit worse today than usual. Upside down. Lined up. And start threading some bolts. Throw some thread locker on all of these. Just hand screw a couple of them in to get everything lined up. fingers in on those. So those are 10 millimeters. Just going to tighten them down. Alright, on there nice and solid. Get our flywheel put on there. The key is already on there. So we just need to slide the flywheel on accordingly. Make sure there's not too much crud in there. Go. So I already reconnected this. You guys may have seen on my Instagram or some of my reels where I derusted these. It's important to make sure that this goes on in the right spot because of these bumps. These bumps are what actually triggers the spark with the trigger coil. So if you have this, you know, cockeyed, it's not going to spark at the right time. Your engine's not going to run right. So fortunately, because of how, you know, rusty and gummed up it was, it's pretty obvious where the line was across it. So it was easy to line back up. Didn't have to put too much thought into it. So we'll get this tightened down. My nut's not screwing on real well, so I might just leave it for now and come back to that part of it. So we'll flip over to the side here. So we have our starter. Not in the best shape, but should work. We'll definitely be testing it to see, you know, if it's any good. My life a little easier here. These are all 6 millimeters. Extender. think they put the one with the washer and the nut on underneath, just to, make our lives incredibly miserable when you're trying to change the starter. So I'll throw it on there. So let's set our rotary valve timing here. Clean this up. All right, so the way you set the timing on the rotary valve is you need a top dead center tool, or you can use a screwdriver. I find it a little bit easier with the top dead center tool. You screw it in on the mag side piston cylinder. So when you turn the engine over, let's make sure you guys can see this. You can see as it turns over and that piston comes up, you can see that it increases. So you wait until it hits its apex, starts to come back down. So right there is your top dead center. So then now, let's get you off the stand here so I can show you. On the, what am I doing here? Switch over the camera so I can actually see what I'm doing. All right, so you got this line right here. This is the factory line that they put on there. You can, if you want, double check it using, I have it over here somewhere. One of these. But I find, I've built enough of these at this point that this line is usually pretty accurate. So you're going to throw this on and try to find the tooth where it lines up. And it should be right there. So we are right on our line at top dead center. So that's all timed up. So I'm going to throw the cover on. I know my bolts are still both here stripped out. Kind of banking on the fact that these two will hold it in with an O-ring. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to figure out how to get the bolt on the front. Probably have to do some rethreading of the nut or the bolt. So whoops, I hope that was all sideways. So until next time, follow me, like, subscribe. Idiot in a Garage CNY on Instagram, and see you next time.